About 2 weeks ago, I started a test of comparing Unmineable to my own profit switcher to the Raven miner pool. And the purpose of this test was to see which was the most profitable for auto switching and paying out in Polygon, which is the native token on the Polygon/Matic network. Now, today I want to cover kind of what those 2-week results look like. And what I did is I snapshotted the results at the 8-day mark, and again today, which is actually around the 12-day mark. So we're going to go over what those results look like. I've taken the prices of all the coins that we're mining, and I've looked at what the actual payouts are that we've actually received in the wallets, and also what the pending earnings are to formulate these numbers. So these are true earnings to date. They may not necessarily all be paid out to the wallet yet. In some scenarios like Unmineable, these are essentially what our current balance is, but not necessarily what has been paid out to the wallet. So right off the bat, if you're unfamiliar with that test, we do have 3 towers we're running here. Tower 1 is running my profit switcher app. Tower 2 is mining Kapow to Unmineable. Tower 3 is mining just Raven coin to the Raven miner. Now, Raven miner pool, when you set up the threshold, they will auto pay out to change now, and will auto convert to whatever coin you want. So if we hop on over there, you can kind of see what those earnings look like. I've actually have it set up. So the first payout, I'd set to 5 just to make sure it worked and kind of see what that payout looked like. But all the subsequent ones, I'd switched it to 20 Raven a day. So these systems, each of them have 2 Sapphire G Pro X080s, which are essentially the 6700 non-XT versions. And so for those, we get about 40 mega hash on Kapow. And our earnings are, if we take a look at projected earnings, where is that at? Right here, estimated earnings. Our estimate per day is right around 20. So that's essentially equating to 1 auto conversion a day. So we're always mining Raven, but we are essentially getting, if we take a look at our payouts, we're getting 1 payout a day in Matic, or Paul, as it's now known. And the way this one works is you accumulate that Raven, and at the end of the day, they actually send that to a change now transaction, and it converts it, and that's the payout that you get. For Unmineable, it's self-explanatory. You're mining Kapow, and they are auto-crediting you in a Polygon. Now, with my profit switcher, the way it works is you are configuring the flight sheets. You're mining to those flight sheets based on whatever coins you enable here. So I've got this sorted by profitability. So you can see we're mining AIDP, Raven, Neoxa, Satox, Nor AI, Chlor, and AI Power Grid. So right now, the AI DPIN coin is actually the most profitable. So you can see it's sitting at about 29 cents profitability. And so if we look at our Tower 1, you can see that is what it's currently mining. If we drill into Tower 1, we can actually take a look and see how frequently the flight sheets were changing. Over the past couple days, because of the volatility, it's changed quite a bit. But you can take a look and see here, like, we went a 7-day span where it basically stayed mining Raven for 7 straight days. So it doesn't hop a lot, but it will hop based on the thresholds that we set. And so right now it is currently mining AIDP, which is AI DPIN, I believe. And if Raven coin goes to be, we can take a look at our thresholds real quick. So our threshold is set at 5%. So Raven had to have to be 5% more profitable for it to switch over to that. So that is just kind of a refresher on the test we're running. So let's talk about the results. On March 3rd, so we started the test on February 23rd. March 3rd, these were our results. And so for Tower 1, which is our profit switcher, We had some pending earnings here. We didn't actually have, I don't show anything paid out to the wallet because we're not actually paying them out. We're letting them accumulate on TradeOgre. So we've got 7.2 Paul there, which is $1.73. We also had 33 pending Raven coin that hadn't been converted to Paul yet. So that was another 41 cents. And then we've had a little bit of NOR AI, some Satox, some AIPG, some AIDP. And that equated to $2.34. Tower 2, if we look at Unmineable, we don't have any of those other buckets. So we only have what our pending credit is, which was 8.74 Paul. And that equates to $2.10. And if we look at Raven Miner, we can see 8.5 is what actually got paid out to our wallet. And then we had 22 pending. This was taken before the payout got processed at the end of the day. So there's a little bit pending there for a total of 233. So what's most interesting about this one is that our profit switcher was the best, but only by a very slim margin of less than 0.6%. So Raven Miner was doing those daily payouts through the Change Now exchange, was actually really close, and both of those were about 10% more in rewards than what Unmineable was. So Unmineable, if you remember in our previous test, Unmineable was actually the best, but in this test, Unmineable was 10% less than these two other options. Moving on to the 12-day results. So this is basically giving us closer to another week of running this. And we see a little bit different results, which was intriguing. So if we take a look at that Raven Miner, we accumulated 11.65, just $2.80. Again, this is aggregates. Unmineable was 11.795 Paul, which was $2.84 equivalent there. And then on our profit switcher, we had 10.83 Paul, which is $2.61. But then we also had some pending Raven, NOR AI, Neoxa, Satox, AI Power Grid, and AIDP. So what you can see here, so over the course of the past week, we've got a little bit of each of those coins. Again, we only have 2 GPUs on it, so we're seeing a little bit in each bucket versus a lot that would have auto-exchanged. But from a dollar value, we can kind of see the same thing. So this is the aggregate amount. And so we have 305 when we're going through Raven Miner. We've got 284 when we're going through Unmineable. And we got 303 when we're going through my profit switcher. So what that means is at the end of 2 weeks, Raven Miner actually slightly beat out my profit switcher. And this could be because of the volatility that we were seeing lately, where Raven Miner was always mining Raven coin. Profitability was switching a little bit between each of the coins. So Raven Miner did beat it out by about 0.5%. Again, not a lot. But both of these did beat out Unmineable by about 7%, so 6.5 to 7% after a 2-week spread. So we are seeing a kind of Unmineable kind of closing the gap a little bit there, but we're still seeing that 7 to 10% difference in the profit switchers. My profit switcher, and then the mining Raven and auto paying out once a day. We're auto converting once a day rather, in comparison to what Unmineable is doing. So if you take this back, compare it to some of the other things that we were looking at with like Rainbow Miner, and that we're looking at about 20% better profitability. Just using numbers off the top of my head, 15 to 20% better doing that direct mining and exchanging ourselves. Now, I did not manually exchange these. These all did run. So if we look at the RMT line, these are running the auto exchanging routine to TradeOgre. and we head on over to the dashboard, we can kind of see how frequent that's happening. Not happening a lot, but it did happen a decent amount. So if we go ahead and filter on auto exchanging, we can kind of see the most recent one was today at 1 p.m. There was at 12:15. It did a little swap as well. So 12:15 one, and then 7:45 several days ago, right? Because with Trade Ogre, you got to meet that $1 minimum threshold. So we're not seeing tons of auto exchanging, but we are seeing some. Now, the more hash rate that you have, more frequent payouts you're going to have from your pool to your exchange. And what that means is the more hash rate you have, the more you could potentially be leveraging the volatility periods that we are currently in. Now, that could be advantageous, could also be disadvantageous. So something to keep in mind. But the more hash rate that you have, obviously, the more that you'll be able to kind of leverage some of that. But these are the transactions that we had convert to Paul as part of this test. So again, we've only had a couple conversions over the past couple weeks, but what that has equated to from the metrics that we're seeing here is that whether you go through Raven Miner, which is doing that auto conversion once a day, or you go through my profit switchers accumulating a bunch of different coins within Kapow throughout those days, you're pretty much on par with those. If you wanted to use that to accumulate coins and not auto exchange, you're probably still going to look at the same profitability as if you were just mining Raven directly, but you're going to be stacking a couple of those various other coins. As you can see here, we've got, if we just take a look at what that profitability looks like of the pending rewards that haven't been converted yet. So we've got 5 cents in Raven, 2.2 cents in NorAI, 4 cents in the Oxa, 12, almost 13 cents in Satox, 1 cent in AI Power Grid, and 1.7 cents in AI Deepen. So it is spread somewhat across, but you can see if you look at your coin yield here, we've got 382 here, 1.55 here, 1,282 here, 123 there, 73 there, and obviously 4 on the Raven. So depending how you want to leverage it, super happy with kind of how things are laying out here. And it is nice to see that that profit switcher that I wrote is about 7% better than Unmineable after 2 weeks. And after 1 week, it was about 10% better. So still not 100% sure where this is going to settle in. You can kind of see Unmineable is closing that gap. But overall, I am happy with how this test has gone. Drop me a comment below. Let me know if you want me to continue to run this for another week or two. Or just drop me a comment below in general and let me know your thoughts on the test, or if you want me to run it against any other platforms.